Hello, gracefully chosen community, and welcome to season 13, episode 50 of Fostered Mind Stories, the achievement-focused podcast for foster care, adoption, orphan, and underserved communities. I'm your host, Shalina Michelle Tate. So on today's Relate to You segment, I will continue highlighting gracefully chosen content. If you are new or returning, I hope this content uplifts your day or encourages someone you know. I understand being associated with the mentioned communities does not always present a positive narrative. Therefore, as you know, this segment seeks to acknowledge relative movies, public figures, and books that help do just that. Let's jump in. So today I will present to you two movies and a relative public figure that connects with these movies that I think that you will enjoy learning more about. The first movie is called The Lost Medallion, The Adventures of Billy Stone. I'd say that this movie is primarily for the 7 to 12-year-old range group and big kids like myself. So a man who stops into a foster home to drop off some donations soon tells the kids a story about two teenage friends who uncovers a lost medallion that transports them back in time. This film, which I have watched, is pretty cool. It stars Alex Kendrick, who is part of the Kendric Brothers, a dynamic group of producers known to create faith-based films like Life Mark, which is coming soon to theaters September 9th. I'm super excited about that. Overcomer, which was phenomenal, and War Room, which also was phenomenal. If you have not seen those movies, please go check them out. They're phenomenal. So those movies again were Overcomer and War Room, but Life Mark is the newest installment coming up September 9th in theaters. And then Will Brent, who is the star adventure Billy Stone, has gone on to play in adventure type films and games, most notably as the young Drake in the Uncharted game series, the Nathan Drake Collection, and Chase Davenport in Disney's Lab Rats, The Elite Force, which is his most recent work. The film also stars Sammy Harady, also known as Hannah from Disney's The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, whose show with two twins, currently as Teen Misty from Showtime's Yellow Jacket. James Hong, who played Mr. Ping in Kung Fu Panda, I love that movie, and world-renowned martial artist Mark DeCasco's phenomenal martial artist. He's about to star an upcoming Keanu Reeves film. This film, The Lost Medallion, can currently be seen for free on TV film apps Freevee, Redbox, and Vudu. I would recommend it for like the 7 to 12-year-old range group, but if you're a big kid like me, feel free to watch it as well, okay? And parents, you may want to kind of watch it as well with them, guide them through that. And so the next film is one I mentioned a little earlier, the movie called Life Mark. I have not seen this yet because it's not in movies yet. It's coming up September 9th to cinema. I'm hoping it comes my way, because if it does, I will be there watching it. I would say that this film is probably for the 13 plus group due to the adoption subject matter. Well, I don't know. Maybe we all could watch it together and then come back and talk about it. So David's comfortable world is turned upside down when his birth mother unexpectedly reaches out to him, longing to meet the 18-year-old son she only held once. With the encouragement of his adoptive parents, David embarks on a journey of discovery that leads to a staggering truth from his past, based upon an incredible true story that celebrates the gift of life. I would say 13 plus because, if a child asks questions, because the character that he's portraying is 18 years old, they may have some questions, and then you as the foster parent, possibly adoptive parent or family, could explain certain situations, and then especially if you're watching it, it may be sensitive for the viewer. So not sure yet, but it sounds like a phenomenal movie. Like I said, it's going to be in theaters September 9th. So this film stars Rafael Ruggiero, who plays David. Rafael is an actor, singer, musician, and filmmaker from the Twin Cities in Minnesota. He began his acting career on stage at the age of 11, doing both community and professional theater, while the upcoming Kendric Brothers film Life Mark is his first movie role. Raphael has worked on several other faith and family films, including Into the Spotlight, Running the Bases, and Camp Hideout, all to be released soon. So he's been pretty busy. Look out for him and his other work as well. But like I said, he is starring in Life Mark September 9th in cinemas. Next up is Dawn Long, who plays Melissa, his birth mother in the film. So Dawn Long grew up active in creative arts and the great outdoors. A fire for acting started after spending some time on a Dennis Quaid movie set in Montana. Dennis Quaid just played father in I Can Only Imagine That. But after years of acting studio commercials, shorts, and feature films, including Treasure, Lies, and Take Two, she's focused on bringing the world inspiring characters in quality films that take people to new places and help change people's lives for the better. Her latest film, Life Mark, is set to be released, like I said, in theaters September 9th. So I know she's super excited. I'm super excited, and I hope you get super excited for this phenomenal film. This film also stars, of course, Alec Kendrick, who produced this film with his brothers and Kirk Cameron, whose name sounds familiar because you probably know him from Growing Pains. He's been working on faith-based films as well. I think the parental and adoption choices of the film Life Mark really speaks to the outcome and power of love, forgiveness, and hope. These narratives really meet us in concerning matters associated with the foster, adoption, orphan, and underserved communities. So to continue that narrative, I would like to turn your attention more closely to Alex Kendrick, who I am making the public figure of the month. Aside from being the coolest pastor ever, has dedicated his life to following Jesus Christ and making his truth and love known among the nations. After serving in church ministry for 20 years, he now writes, speaks, and produces Christian films with his brothers. They go the brothers, Stephen and Shannon. Alex directed and co-wrote the movie Overcomer, War Room, Courageous, Fireproof, Facing the Giants, and Flywheel. Phenomenal movies. Flywheel was the first film. And if you like football type movies, Facing the Giants is really good. Fireproof, if you're going through some marital situations. Courageous is a movie to encourage fathers and just them stepping up to the plate. And War Room is phenomenal as far as always keeping prayer at the forefront of your marriage. And Overcomer is a film about just not giving up despite life's challenges. And as you can see, I have watched a lot of those films, so I love the Kendrick Brothers. Has also in 2021 released with his brothers 2 other films, Courageous Legacy, which I have not seen, and Show Me the Father. I've seen the postings for that, but unfortunately it did not come in my area. But I'm pretty sure I can find it now, right? On one of those apps I was telling you about earlier. And so Alex is an executive producer, co-writer, and plays the role of Sean in the newest film, Life Mark. He co-wrote the New York Times bestseller. Here goes the book section of this segment you can check out. He co-wrote the New York Times best-selling books, The Love Dare, that's one, The Resolution for Men, and The Battle Plan for Prayer. He has been interviewed on Fox and Friends, CNN, and ABC World News. Alex and his wife, Christina, live in Albany, Georgia with their 6 children and are active members at Sherwood Church. And so there you have it. Alex Kendrick, who I mentioned like 18 times in this segment, is not only a character from The Lost Medallion, who basically is the storyteller in this film, but he also co-produced the Life Mark that's coming to cinemas September 9th with his brothers, with Kirk Cameron, a close friend of theirs, and along with his brothers, have a phenomenal studio, which I am wanting you to visit. Is thekendrickbrothers.com. There you can explore books and other films by the Kendrick Brothers, Alex, Stephen, and Shannon. And also some of their books pair with the movie. So I mentioned a movie called War Room. If you go to the website, they also have like a War Room manual. It's like a teaching manual, almost like a Bible study, if you will. I think that's pretty cool. And there on the site, you can become immersed in their journey to producing and creating quality content that also brings restoration, hope, inclusive to the storylines that help encourage the foster, adoption, orphan, and underserved, the gracefully chosen community. So Alex Kendrick is your public figure of the month. Once again, to recap for this segment, The Lost Medallion, The Adventures of Billy Stone, I would say in the 7 to 12 year age, it can currently be seen for free on TV film apps Freebie. That's where I saw it. Then you also have Redbox and Vudu. Also, LifeMark hits theaters September 9th, and I really hope it comes to my area so I can watch it. And I hate to say it, but a lot of times I see the posters for a lot of these films that I want to see, but the posters, they never come to the theater. Hopefully we'll see this if it comes to the theater. If it doesn't, I'm going to find it as soon as possible. Hopefully one of those apps. So there you go. And then so I also mentioned Alex Kendrick with his brothers Shannon and Steven. Alex Kendrick is your public figure associated with producing quality content inclusive of redemptive storylines that provide hope also for the foster, adoption, orphan, and underserved communities. They provide a lot of faith-based films, which I recommend you and your family checking out. But I love the Kendrick Brothers' work because they include our communities, gracefully chosen communities, in those storylines that they release content for. So introduced to them like almost 2 years ago now, have basically been just waiting for new content ever since. KendrickBrothers.com is where you can find their books and other films associated with the ministry and mission. So if your upbringing, community service, or job connects you to the foster, adoption, orphan, or underserved community, gracefully chosen community, I would love to have you on the podcast or just to network for projects and other services. You can inbox me directly on LinkedIn at Foster My Stories podcast page or the Foster My Stories Facebook page. Stay connected for updates posted on any of the platforms convenient for you: Red Circle, Spotify, Amazon's Audible and Music, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, and like I mentioned, Facebook page where you can also catch missed episodes or stay connected for announcements. I have Danny Van coming up as one of my guests. So I'm excited to introduce as well this month for you Facebook Live segment, Danny Van, coming up on the 23rd of this month. And if you have not listened already, Cheryl Williams kicked off this month as far as the podcast. Mandy Lemon coming up as well on the podcast for a Facebook Live interview. They connected on the pages in the group for updates concerning that interview. You don't want to miss it. To recap again, the Lost Medallion, LifeMark, and Alex Kendrick has displayed today that your past circumstance does not define the individual you can become, and through love and forgiveness, restoration can heal what always felt broken. Please share this with someone, and remember, as always, that being fostered, adopted, orphaned, or underserved simply means you're gracefully chosen.